Hey guys, Shelter here. It's been a month since Stalingrad first came out, and I still don't think there is a single campaign that has ever divided the community as much as Stalingrad. To put it bluntly, Stalingrad is by far the most controversial campaign out of the five. In fact, I don't think any of these form. The only real controversy I can probably say about these campaigns was when Tunisia first came out, which was the engineers being so high level, right? Which was what, level 9 for engineers? That was the only real controversy I think in these campaigns. There probably was a few more, like for instance Soviet bias in Berlin, but it's like very tame. Stalingrad, on the other hand, has had possibly the most controversy out of any campaign. So I'm gonna answer that question. Why it's been so controversial, and more to the point, how this controversy can be avoided next. Later down the line. Now, basically, I'm gonna be addressing multiple reasons for it being controversial, and basically saying why it's controversial, and what the devs can do better next time. So the first thing I need to talk about, it doesn't even have to do with the campaign as of now, it's on the build up of the campaign. Now, if you don't know, Enlisted has a thing where it's quite easy to predict when the next update, the big update, is going to be, because they always do it at the end of the battle pass. So usually each update comes out every 3 to 4 months. Now, they do delay the battle pass every now and again, they do delay it, which, has happened before. It happened with Tunisia, it happened with the weapons update, but usually these are about a week, if that. For Stalingrad, it was closer to a month, and honestly, it really did tick people off. As well as that, the news update, so if you look at the change logs from Stalingrad, right, it was, you can't view it in game, but basically, the change logs would always be, it would basically, there would just be weeks in between the change logs. Now, the reason this is so important is that it would basically, there was two main things. One, the battle pass would get extended, and it wouldn't be like, oh, here's a month extra. It would be a week, a week, a week, a week. And yeah, and the thing was, the devs were constantly being slow with the news, and it really did annoy the community. It annoyed the community as people were just like, well, we're waiting. In fact, it got to the point where literally people were I was making a video on why I thought Stalingrad would not be the next update. Ironically, literally an hour after I uploaded that video, they announced Stalingrad. But yeah, the way this could be fixed is just be honest, say it's going to take us a month to announce it, say, look, Stalingrad's coming, it'll take a month, however, to release, and then we can, but for the meanwhile, here's a free battle pass, here's a free, you go from level 50, say like, from level 40, level 50, level 30 to level 50. So, here's another, basically, from level 30 to level 50. So all of this stuff here gets added, on addition to, what's that, post level 60. Because if you don't know, at level 60, you get, it's like 2 silver orders, a troop order, and then it's stuff like, XP, stuff like that. But yeah, that was the first major gripe people had with Stalingrad. It was just the delays, and people just got pissed off with that. The second thing is release date. If you don't know, release date of Stalingrad was very buggy. It was laggy, and the thing was, if you bought the premium, which I'm going to talk about later, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit. If you bought the premium, you could, on your first ever match, unless, of course, you did it so that you were level 2 on the premium, so you're already not the medic squad. But if you had the premium, there was a very nasty glitch where you couldn't actually respawn. But basically, so what happened was, if you died, you would it would spawn you in, and you would get the so it would spawn you in. So you started out with the rifle squad, you started with the sniper squad, you also get a tank squad. Normally, not you don't get the medic squad. I have the level up. I'll show you the allies, right? So you start with this, right? Now, what ended up happening was, with the premium, if I show you this, it actually gives you another squad for free. Now, obviously, this is a free. This is of course the £30 thing, and you get like this whole thing with it. But it gives you a flamethrower tank. It gives you the flamethrower tank. Now, the flamethrower tanks, they're not bad, from what I've heard. But the problem is that it takes, is that you use the flame when you get the flamethrowers, right? You know, when it back in the day, well, I won't say back in the day, it was like back during the first, during the first day, well, first battle. If you use the flamethrower, you had the flamethrower tank, and it was just the flamethrower tank, rifle squad, sniper squad. When you exhausted these two out, you couldn't respawn because the game registered that there was 2 vehicles. So it said that you had 4 squads. It basically it basically thought it was like this. The game thought it was like this, where in reality it was 2 vehicle squads. So if you don't know, the game actually, when you have 4 squads, when you have 3 squads, the game will puts the limit on 1. So basically, say you rifle squad die, go to assaulter squad, die, you can go back to rifle squad, you can go to tanker squad, etc, etc. Pretty good system. If you have 3, it goes to or more, it goes to 2. So you go rifle squad, assaulter squad, then you have to choose one of these 2 squads, then you can go back to the rifle squad. But with this one, it just had the old all it had was the fucking the flamethrower squad. So it was doing like this. So what it meant was that people couldn't play the game. So people would just, they would go in. You could potentially have games where paid players could only play when their teammates were out the T60, the T70 or the flamethrower tank. It was a shocking time for if you were paid player. If you weren't paid player, then you didn't have this. That was a hilarious thing as well. If you didn't pay for it, you wouldn't get this issue. But if you did, you would be fucked over. And the thing was, this was fixed almost day 1 as well. So yeah, on top of the server issues and the lag and all of that, it really made the thing look really unpolished. Now, given how quick they found the bug was reported and it was patched out, given how quick it was, it's pretty safe to assume it was an easy to patch bug. So why did it go through? How could this have gone through QA in the first place? It really, I'm just gonna say I've got some game design experience. I'm not a developer in any way. I'm more of a student, but how could this gone through the QA? Especially because this is huge. This is a big issue on your new campaign, and you've got players basically getting restricted. The third thing is honestly just over monetization, especially just how big it was. So basically, what I mean by over monetization is, first off, this. Now, if you don't know, the pack, so it's about £30, £30 or €30 or whatever it is, and honestly, you get a lot. You get 4 times XP. You can level up your soldiers and your weapons to level 5. And it also and soldier upgrades are cheaper. You get the FT1, you get the flamethrower tanks. you get 4 additional squads. But critically, you get access to a few weapons and vehicles in the tech tree. Now, if these were stuff like the Drellin and the Panzer IIIN and maybe the Stuka, definitely the mortar, you know, planes and stuff like this, maybe the MG42 because you get the 34 by default, you know, it wouldn't be so bad. But it's stuff like the you know, the Corrali, it's stuff like the Corrali, the Panzer IV-J, the MKB, you know, the T-34, both versions of the T-34, the AVT, the DT-29, the Thompson, you know, it's stuff like that that were locked behind the paywall. Now, personally, how they could have changed this was, you know, keep all of these perks, you know, keep all of these, the XP, the premium squads, the, you know, the squad slots, and maybe even this, you know, keep all of that, but do not restrict the weapons. They shouldn't have restricted the weapons and the vehicles. Now, the second thing, which is for the Allies, actually, is the squad here. This was announced way before launch. Now, if you don't know who these were the Night Witches. So, the Night Witches obviously were, you know, they were the most famous regiment of the, it's the most famous regiment of the Soviet army, and you get access to the Night Witches. The problem is, this shouldn't have been immediate, that, you know, oh, you get the Night Witches straight away. You know, it should have, if they were going to add the Night Witches, they should have, you know, made it so that they were the first premium squad, if they were going to do the premium squad route. Which I don't, again, I don't like premium squads, but I don't know. The problem is as well, the price as well, like 3,000, that's what? £30 for a squad? When you can buy the full version of the campaign and basically get a free level up campaign. The final thing I'm going to talk about is the customization. Just why? Now, if you don't know, you can customize the things, and this was horribly glitched at times. I think it's been fixed now, but there's times. But look at this. Like, these cosmetics, like some of these aren't even that good. Like, I'm not gonna buy anything, but like, look at this. Like, why? And like, look at the price of this. 240 gold, or 8 of these orders, right? Now I've got a lot of these orders because I don't use them, but I'll make sure that it's on default so I don't get short charged. I don't want to get charged for this. But, you know, what's the point? It's like, you know, what's the point of buying some of these things? Like, yeah, they look cool. Like, yeah, this officer hat looks cool, but why would you buy, you know, why would you buy these when, you know, I don't even know. It's like, why would you buy these? And look, I mean, look, you can probably just, like, some of these are just overpriced as fuck. And if you wanted to, you could just cycle. I'm pretty sure you could just cycle them. So you could just do the old cycle with them. I mean, of course, the medics have to have the medic helmet because, yeah. But you can see what I mean by this. It's just like, it's overpriced. Like, and the thing is, right, this is paid. Customization is paid. This isn't like something that you have to, you know, get off the bat. Right? It's paid. Now, the problem with all of this is even though like I said it's paid, now you might be like, but you can use these orders. Do you know how you get these orders? Battle Pass. I mean, look, where is it? I mean, you get them for the Battle Pass, yeah, some of them are free. You know, from these ones, yeah, they're, 5, yeah, that one's free, but it's like, look later, it's like, for the Battle Pass, I'm pretty sure they're free in the Battle Pass, but the problem is, yeah, look, 10 here for paid in the Battle Pass. Now, I was always saying during the days, I was saying these are the most useless things you can get in the Battle Pass. Still are, in my opinion. But it's like why? Like, some of these things, the only good thing I've ever used, like, the only time I've ever used one of these is here. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, is here. Yeah, I made a joke and called my pilot the C word. Yeah. For a joke. That's it. Literally, I don't get it. I don't get it. You're basically paying for cosmetics at this point, and I get, that's better. I'd rather have people paying for cosmetics than paying for, to experience the game fully. So like saying like, oh, it's a cosmetic microtransaction over a fucking, spending 50 billion quid trying to level up Berlin for an example. I'm just using Berlin as an example. But yeah, I don't get this. I think the over monetization of Stalingrad really needs to be addressed. The main thing is, keep, like I said, keep some of these stuff, but do not, and I repeat, do not restrict weapons and vehicles again. It's, like, why? Why does this, why restrict some of these things? Some of these as well are huge game changers. Like, some of these doesn't matter. Like, stuff like the mortar doesn't matter. Stuff like the Stuka doesn't really matter too much. Something like, say, the MG42, annoying, yeah, but you've got the 34 and the 13. So it's not the end of the world. But something like the Kurali, which is a new weapon, one of the only new weapons, which I'll talk about that later, and stuff like the MKB-42 being locked, and it's one of the reasons why Stalingrad's often considered the most pay-to-win campaign, because, well, it's got all of these things. Now, is it pay-to-win? Debatable. It's not. It's definitely, you pay more, you get. If you pay more with Stalingrad, you get a lot more than you will with any other campaign. That is no question. That is absolutely no question. Like, if you pay the same amount of, let's say £30 in Normandy to buy a squad, right? Let's just say, what would be £30? A P50, a Johnson squad, or the P51, or what's the Axis version? Maybe the Panzer 3M with the, is this the, oh yeah, this is the, Hitler Jugend, the Jugens, the children's squad, or the BF-19, or the Gewehr 41 and stuff like that. What do you get from this? Not much. Whereas Stalingrad, you get a lot. So, yeah. Anyways, the fourth major issue with Stalingrad, which is why it's controversial, is just really just the features of the campaign. Mostly, if we go into weapons, mostly just the things it has that other campaigns don't. TNT charge being the big fucking example. This thing is it's a no skill it's a no skill weapon. It literally is no skill. It's basically a less skilled version of the E-Pack. In fact, you can use both the TNT charge and the E-Pack at the same time. I don't think, do I even have E-Packs on this? No, I don't even have an E-Pack. But you can use E-Packs and you can use TNT charges. Fuck it. That is a typo. But yeah. And that's not even the tip of the iceberg. Medics used to be so... It basically, if you didn't know what the event, there was the I'll go over to where's the events page. Oh shite. Events. Here we go. During No Step Back, the reason why the leaderboard was stacked with people was because all they did was just boost with medics. They boosted with medics, and it got people basically just... Everyone just got a load of stuff because they would just boost with medics, and they got to the top of the leaderboard. It's why medics actually got nerfed, by the way. That's actually why medics got nerfed. But yeah, medics, they are probably one of the more the medics obviously quite powerful. Obviously, they're assaulters, and they've got infinite medkits, pretty much. Meanwhile, you've also got stuff like the glass mortar, which can be deployed by engineers, and of course, bombing runs. Honestly, bombing runs are the antithesis of no skill. Anyone who uses them legitimately, you have no skill whatsoever. Like, it is honestly the most... Like, I know people, say, oh, the jumbo, it's just... Like, I'm just going to say, this is more overpowered than the jumbo. This makes the P-47. This thing makes the P-47. The P-40 fucking 7 look balanced. I would say this piece of shit that I abuse, by the way, I abuse this thing. I won't deny, I do abuse using the P-47 because it's so easy to abuse. But this, I would consider to be less. That's less overpowered than the bombing runs in Stalingrad. Honestly, the best way to describe it is, what would happen if you took the Red Rain from pre-Radio Squad nerfs and combined that with the early bombing, with the early, the initial pre-Berlin bombing sprees? That is what you get with the Radio Squad's bombing run. And I was saying back in the, back when it was coming out, that it was a bad idea to have this. This thing is a no-skill multi-kill. I have literally spawned in and been killed by this thing. And this wasn't spawning in from a rally point. These things actually go to the spawn point. Like, you could spawn camp people with these things. And they'd be like, oh, but you can only use it, once at a time. What if 2 people are using it? Are abusing it? Also, you might, before someone says, just shoot them down, have you tried shooting these fuckers down? If you haven't, shut the fuck up, okay? I'm just going to say that. I tried shooting some of them down, right? And I'm not a bad pilot. By any stretch in the imagination. I tried shooting them down. There's no chance. They have rear gunners that are actually pretty accurate. Not, and they can tank quite a lot of damage. It is very hard to take down one plane in the bombing run, let alone all 5. So really, the whole thing of, oh, it's balanced, it's not. It is the most unbalanced thing in this game. And I will take that, I actually am going to say, I'm taking that at the moment, I will die on that hill. This is the most unbalanced thing in the game. Anyways, let's move on to my final point. I know I've been rambling a lot for this video, but I'm going to talk about my final point. And that is really the lack of content with Stalingrad. Now, honestly, what has Stalingrad added? I'm just going to ask that question. What has Stalingrad added? So, the only thing for the Axis is the F2, which is also in another campaign. So, the F2, that's not bad. The Kurali, yeah. This new plane, yeah, I guess. The Panzer 4G, but again, the Panzer 4s are in every other campaign. MP717, not really, because that's in other campaigns. And the MKB, again, not really. So, really, it's 1, 2, 3. That's about it, really. 3 things. Right? And the Mannlicher, and one of the Mannlichers. The base are not Mannlicher, but does that really count? For the Soviets, I mean, what is there? T-34s in other campaigns, you know. I think other stuff in other campaigns. The KV-1. You know, that's it. The KV-1 at the moment. Everything else is in other campaigns. Thompson, other campaigns. M20, other campaigns. PPSH, every other campaign. You know, AVT, AVS. And, you know, look at all the weapons. How many of these... Look, how many of these are in other campaigns? All of them. The same goes here. These are all in other campaigns for the Soviets. Literally nothing in this campaign for the Soviets is unique. Alright? Now, let's take a look at Tunisia, right? Now, I often bash Tunisia a lot for being mostly, you know, the same thing. But Tunisia actually has some unique weapons scattered here and there. The Enfield, the number 3, and the number 3, the launcher. The number 4T, the number 4 sniper. The Johnson, which is a premium squad. You know, the Thompson here, which I know it's in Stalingrad, but it was in Tunisia first. The Bren and the Vickers here. The Boys AT rifle. You know, that's just for the Allies. The Axis has every Carcano, the whatever the hell, the spaghetti launcher here. The spaghetti, whatever the hell it is. You know, so you've got the Carcanos, you know, the 4 Carcanos, and of course the other Carcano. The spaghetti launcher. Beretta M1. You know, those are all unique. And that's about it, really. That's all you know. And the pistols as well, like the Beretta pistols. These are both unique. The British just have the Webley and the Enfield, but no one cares about revolvers in this game because revolvers are shit. But you know, look at that. Look at what that campaign added. Now look at Stalingrad. Allies have nothing. I've already said. What about the Axis? Like the Axis, 2 rifles. Right? One, you know, one SMG, and that's it. 3 weapons. 3 unique weapons in a campaign. What? Like, even the earliest Berlin. Like, look at early Berlin. MP308. Drellin. Volkssturmgewehr. That's 3 weapons here. And I haven't even talked about the VG2 and the Kriegsmodell. Or, you know, or even all the drum, all the Panzerfaust, which weren't in the other campaigns. And the Soviets as well, at the time. AVT, you know, the AVT and the SVT weren't in Berlin, weren't in Moscow. Same with the PPSH. Both the PPSH, PPS 42 and 43. I mean, now the FA as well, which isn't in another campaign. And the same goes with the DPM and the DT-29. These weren't in Moscow. Well, DT-29 is in Moscow, but it wasn't in Moscow at the time. And the DPM isn't in Moscow. So, again, look at, you know, what Berlin and Tunisia added. And look at Stalingrad. Now, I do know that people are going to say, but they've exhausted all, you know, all of the content that they've, you know, stripped through content. Yeah, they could have been unique about it. Like, I mean, the Kurali and, you know, the Romanian Mannlicher is examples that they could have gone. You know, they could have put more rifles in. You know, they could have made some more Lend-Lease weapons. I don't know. Or, like, Tunisia's example where you can have, you know, with the, especially with the Axis. Like, that's the only thing. The Axis, you know, have a, you know, since they were so diverse, there's a lot of weapons. Like, maybe with Berlin, you could have had, you know, with Stalingrad, you could have had, like, some, like, you know, more weapons. It's basically, the main problem is just how many recycled weapons there are in this campaign. Soviets get absolutely nothing new, and the things that are new for the Axis, I mean, the Kurali's in another campaign. The MP717 obviously doesn't really count because it's in three other campaigns. You know, the Manlek, I mean, the MKB, even that, that's in 2 other campaigns technically. Like, really, the only thing, like, there's nothing here. The only thing that's unique to Stalingrad, really, is the Mannlicher M39, M93, I meant. Right, this is the only weapon that's unique to Stalingrad. That's wholly unique to Stalingrad, and it's a bolt action. Like, they could have done a lot more with Stalingrad. That's what I'm coming. And to add more onto the laziness, let's have a look at the maps, right? Now, I'm just going to select none, right? Let's look at the Normandy. We'll look at all the campaigns, right? When Moscow first came out, it had Forestry, it had Bellow Lake, Monastery, Vescovo Village, and then it was stuff like, you know, this city map, Avant-Garde, Forestry, Fortified District, Bellow Lake, Birch Grove Manor, Kanenka River, and Monastery, when that was first added to the game. When Normandy was first added, it had like 18 maps. It had D-Day, it had Le Brie, it had the Ruins of Volks, it had this, you know, and then it had all of the conquest maps. With Berlin, it was basically the exact same. You can see here, you know, Ministry Garden, HGS, Konix Plaza, Kroll, Bramhoff, Wilhelmstrasse, and then you have, like, you know, Right Chancellery, HGS again, Bramhoff, all of the, you know, all the conquest maps. Tunisia was a little bit less, but the thing was, each map was unique to each other. So you had Al-Har, Algebra Farm, Fortress, and Gorge, but they all felt unique to each other. So, like, Al-Har was a city, Algebra Farm was Pain, Fortress was constantly changing, and so was Gorge, actually. And Gorge went from city to long range, so, yeah. Stalingrad, on the other hand, well, what maps are there? There's Communist Street, Gruel Street, and Unimag, right? So 3 maps. Apart from the fact that they're all, essentially, you're fighting in the exact same map every time. Like, it's just different directions. Like, Unimag, you're going into Communist Street. Communist Street, you're going into Gruel Street. Gruel Street, you're going into Unimag. It's literally like that. I generally do not like, and the thing is, the maps are so exploitable as well. The map is so exploitable, which links back, by the way, to the lack of polish when I was talking about the launch. The lack of polish. You could put rally points in the fucking point. Like, what? There's points, you know, you can put rallies right on the point. I've literally seen rally points in the top of buildings. Like, on literal buildings. Literally on the point. On the same point. In the same building as the point. What? Like, can you name a map which allows you to do this? Right? Maybe not HGS, Ministry Garden with the villa. Ministry Garden with the villa is probably the only, and maybe um, and maybe the chateau are the only two exceptions. With this, however, it's the rule. You can put it in so many buildings. It's annoying. I know I sound negative this video, but it's like, as well as this, you know, Central Station is a shit conquest map. I hate Central Station. Well, to be honest, I just don't like. I just don't like the map. I actually do not like this map at all. It's the same map, and it just feels bad. Yeah, it feels samey. Like, to use Berlin for example, HGS, Connex Plaza, and Ministry Garden all feel different to each other. Okay, even though they are very close to each other on the map, like HGS and Ministry Garden literally feed, and where's the other one? And Wilhelmstrasse all feed into Right Chancellery, yet, and feature parts of Right Chancellery, but they all feel unique and they feel fresh to each other. Like, you literally, same with Connex Plaza or Moat, you literally, you know, like in Moat, HGS and Kroll, Opera House, you know, you literally have, these are literally next to each other. In fact, you know, Connex Plaza and Kroll and Moat, they have similar, you know, yeah, it's like this, but again, these are the exceptions. In Stalingrad, it's the rule. And they really should have made more maps. Like, it's one of those things, like, I'm going to go back to Tunisia here. You know, Al-Har feels different. Algebra Farm feels different. Fortress, Gorge, they both feel different to the other maps. And even if you take in the new maps, like Knife Cave Village and Oasis, they all feel different to each other. Even Normandy has this nailed down. Stalingrad has the worst map variety, and it's not even close. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I have been ranting for a very long time. Basically, I'm not a fan of Stalingrad at all. I think it's a pretty poor campaign, and I think it's probably my least favourite campaign at the moment, and that's actually saying something. And the thing is, it's tailor-made for me. It's a close range campaign, and I don't like it. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm sorry it's been very, very negative and very long, and I've been ranting quite a bit, but I just had to get this up. You know, I just had to do this. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.